Emotionally so strong feeling that it was worth to sing these scrap songs and then the real emotional songs in the end.
1969 was the 100th anniversary of the song festivals, and Estonians were anticipating a large celebration. But the Soviet authorities were looking to squelch the Estonian spirit. So they discouraged the wearing of traditional Estonian folk costumes and forbade the singing of Mu Isamaa on Minu Arm, the unofficial national anthem that premiered at the 1947 Song Festival.
Ja niimoodi oligi, ma mäletan, seegi laulupidu, see oli jah, see kuulus juubeli laulupidu 69. aastal, kus jällegi koorid on laulnud oma ametliku programmi ära, lavalt ära ei lähe. Pannakse seal tavaliselt, nagu oli need puhkpilliorkestrid mängima, et summutada koori laulu, sellest midagi ei aita. Rahvas, ma mäletan, karjub seal lauluväljakul, mu isamaa on minu arm, mu isamaa on minu arm, niimoodi skandeeritakse kogu aeg.
I remember this time all singers want to sing Mu isamaa on minu arm. And we started to sing without leader. And then not once time, 2 times, 3 times, all need more. It was very, very good feeling.
No, it's interesting thing, if 20,000 people start to sing one song, even without the conductor, then you just cannot shut them up. It's impossible.
The Soviets were forced to let the song's composer, Gustav Ernesaks, take the stage and conduct the song.
Ja lõpuks see asi kujuneski selleks, et laulupidu, mida 5 aastat hoolega ette valmistati, tema peamine eesmärk oligi selles, et tulla kokku ja koos rahvaga maha laulda see üks keelatud ja kõige tähtsam laul. Ja kõik rahvas võis minna koju oma igapäevase töö juurde teadmisega, et Eesti vaim elab edasi.
In the 1970s, the song festivals did keep the Estonian spirit alive. But the oppressive reality of daily life still consisted of long food lines, incessant propaganda, and little hope for anything resembling freedom. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev came to power. Educated by the Stalinist school system, he was a firm believer in communism.
Soviet television took pains to show Gorbachev, a man with Prime Minister Tikhonov and Foreign Minister Gromyko. Men from the Stalin days, men born before the Bolshevik Revolution. That was probably done to show the Soviet people and the world that there is continuity inside the Kremlin.
While he intended to maintain the communist grip on the Soviet Union, Gorbachev could no longer deny the crumbling economic devastation of the past 70 years. So he planned to modernize the Soviet system, introducing the concepts of glasnost and perestroika.
And perestroika means relative freedom within the Soviet system. And glasnost means, this is a Russian word for free speech.
And let's say Gorbachev and his cohorts had been traveling in the West. They must have seen something with their own eyes. Why don't we have this prosperity back home? We have tried and tried and tried, and we are poor, we don't have anything. People are unhappy, and so on.
And Gorbachev was relatively intelligent, and he decided to launch a major campaign of renewing the Soviet system, but within the system felt that the communists should remain. But he made one very basic fundamental mistake. He didn't realize that whenever you give free speech to people, then things get out of hand. The ghost gets out of the bottle.
But the Estonians here, that had their own goals. They thought, our big chance. If we are going to change something, okay, let's do it. Let's do it the real way. Let's do it our way. And of course, that wasn't exactly what Gorbachev had in mind.
In 1987, Estonians took their first step in testing this new openness. The Soviets had unveiled a plan to begin strip mining in Estonia. Some decided to push the limits of glasnost and organized protests against the mines.
At first, I think that this environmental issue was more safe, because even in Soviet Union you could speak about environment, about nature.
They calculated that by taking non-violent action and speaking only about the environment, Gorbachev wouldn't use force to stop the protests. In light of glasnost and perestroika, this would have been an international embarrassment for him. The strategy worked, and the mines were halted. Soon after, a small group of activists decided to try something riskier, to openly speak about politics and history and the Soviet occupation.
Poliitiline on aeg teha niisuguseid otsustavaid liigutusi, et midagi uut peab tooma sisse. Ja siis me mõtlesimegi välja selle, et terve Eesti saatuse raskuspunkt on ju Molotov-Ribbentropi paktis juriidiliselt. Ja et tegelikult on aeg selle eest kõvahäälselt hakata võitlema.
Lagle Parek, along with Tiit Madison and Heikki Ahonen, decided to openly contest the legality of the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. All three had previously spent hard prison time for anti-Soviet activities. They planned a demonstration, but couldn't publicize it. So they depended on word of mouth and the illegal Voice of America and Radio Free Europe. On the morning of August 23rd, with KGB agents watching every move and taking photographs, the group arrived, thinking that only a handful of people would be brave enough to show up. Surprisingly, several thousand people appeared.
The authorities say that if you disturb traffic, then you can expect a very harsh punishment, because it could have led to 10 years of labor camps and things like that.
The police shut off the public address system, so demonstrators used rolled-up paper megaphones to be heard over the crowd.
First of all, they started to talk, and then they were understood that they are not yet arrested. And then they talked more, and they understood that they are not arrested again, and then they talked even more.
The demonstration at Hirve Park was the first time in 50 years that anybody had spoken publicly against the Soviet occupation and gotten away with it.
No, siin on just ütleme see Hirve pargi monument, Hirve pargi näide on väga hea näide, kuidas kasvab julgus, millega siis üheskoos edasi mindi. See on kohutavalt tähtis, et keegi alguses käib välja.
And more Estonians began to stand in defiance. At the end of 1987, the Heritage Society was formed. Using discussions about Estonian culture as a cover, its members planned to push free speech to the next level, exposing the truth about Estonia's brutal Soviet history.
If Gorbachev says that there is free speech, if there is glasnost, if there is freedom, then let's talk about history as it was. Let's tell the truth. So the basic message was let's tell the truth.
Within 4 months, the Heritage Society had grown to 10,000 people. In April of 1988, they decided to organize a demonstration celebrating Estonian history and culture. It was held in the university town of Tartu. The demonstration was monitored by Soviet police.
The feeling was that KGB would like to provoke some clash, to show that here is something going on which could be called violence, which will need then some armed intervention or something like that.
Since the beginning of the Soviet occupation, it had been illegal to fly the Estonian blue, black, and white flag. But several of the organizers had an idea.
They decided to have all three national colors, black, blue, and white, as separate flags, side by side, so that in practice you had the full national flag.
There are some memories in the life which will never go away because they changed you. I remember this feeling that, oh, there's so much people. And then you see the old ladies crying. They just stood, looked on us, and they cried. It was something which you always remember.
The demonstration at Tartu was a success. But the main people to speak out were a relatively small group of activists and students. Over the next few months, word spread and more Estonians began gaining courage. Months later, a summer celebration concert in the capital city of Tallinn erupted into a spontaneous declaration of hope.
There was so many people. The square was full of people, and all people was very happy.
Siin vanalinna päevade lõpul laulsid Ivo Linna neid Mattiiseni Isamaa laule. Partei ja võimud kartsid seda vanalinna päevade lõppu, kuna oli teada, et kogu need päevad kihutasid ainult rahvast üles. Ivo Linna ütles, et siin meil ei lubatud rohkem esineda, läheme nüüd kõik lauluväljakule ja laulame seal edasi. Siis juba laulukaare ette hakkas rahvast kogunema, nii et lõpuks võis meid olla ka 100 000 seal.
So we went there with the friends, and it was great to see that all the strangers, they were just singing like one man. And we were hand in hand, and it was great. I still have chicken skin, if I remember that.